Campus college football preview video. Today we're taking a look at the week 3 matchup. Texas headed down to Houston to take on the Rice Owls. We'll break it down for you in just a second. I'm the big man on campus, joined as always by our regular guest, Joe Duffy. Joe Duffy from offshoreinstarts.com. Joe, how you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic, BMOC. We were talking about some bad beats off of the air. I'd be doing even better if it weren't for those bad beats, but it's gambling. You gotta shake them off. Although from a superstition standpoint, I don't like them. But no, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, those happened. Last week, you gave us a winner on the Baylor Bears. That was an easy winner, but Clemson gives up a backdoor to Texas A&M. They were in control that entire game, but that's how it goes. Joe Duffy 2-2 on his pick videos. We'll take a look at 2 more today. Let's get started with Rice and Texas. Texas off of a loss to the LSU Tigers, a game that they gave up a lot of yards in and a lot of points, 45 in total. And before we get into anything, Joe, it's kind of amazing that Texas's defensive coordinator, Todd Orlando, makes $1.7 million a year. Everywhere this guy has went, he has been an abject failure. And he has been a failure at Texas. It's sad that they continue to put up with this. We look at this game, Texas, a road favorite here, 30.5 or 31, total 57. You look at Rice off of a loss to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Keep in mind in that game, quarterback Wiley Green did go out in the first quarter. They actually played decently well without him. The game was actually tied at one point in the second quarter, 14-all. But this is a Rice defense that has struggled, Joe, giving up in that game. They gave up 513 yards to Wake. I got to know, you're not one that I normally feels like lays some big numbers, especially over 30. But what do you like here? Texas's defense, it's hard to get behind them laying a big number. What do you like here, Joe? Rice and Texas.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we're going to agree here, and it was nice to see that Wiley Green was okay. I was, of course, watching that game, and that was a pretty scary injury, but it does sound like he is going to be okay and maybe even physically capable of playing this week. But remember, his replacement, Tom Stewart, he's a Harvard grad transfer. Now, of course, a big jump up from, Harvard to playing in the Big 12 and, even against a team like a Rice, playing against the Big 12 competition. But again, he's still an experienced quarterback. So, and there was even a lot of people close to the program thought that really going with Green, because he's such a young player, he's got more of the upside, but wasn't necessarily the best quarterback, for the first week of the season and the second week of the season. But I am going to go with Rice here, and it's because of my famed bubble burst theory. Even before I had computers to look back and verify this, my theory always was when a team was a legitimate national championship contender, and it doesn't matter if you or I thought that Texas had a legitimate chance. They were ranked 9th in the country. They had a chance to make a statement. They certainly thought they were a legitimate national championship contender. Once they have that rug pulled out from under them, they're usually a good go against the next week. And I have quite a few bubble burst systems. A lot of them overlap into my computer, but this one is 36-13, and it does say to fade Texas. And although I said college football is the one sport where I do often pick big favorites, I'm a dog player by nature. Underdogs of 29 or more since 2015 are returning to prominence. A very solid 249, 205, and 12, and a 60.7% winner when they're not off of a win of 21 or more. That could also, of course, mean a loss. It could be a win of 20 or less or a loss. And remember, I said college football is a momentum sport. Well, Texas here, the big favorite, doesn't have the momentum clearly. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be a huge drop-off if Rice has to go with their Harvard transfer, because he might be, the more ready quarterback at this point. So it sounds like you agree with me, or I agree with you. I'm going to take the big points here.
Yeah, I thought Tom Stewart actually didn't look too bad in that game against in Wake. He had a touchdown. They have a receiver, Austin Trammell, good player, a couple good running backs. This is not – and I think, a lot of the time, you look for teams like this that maybe they're not the greatest team in the world. Maybe they're not a team that are even going to win 3 or 4 games, but they're going to give you an effort. It looks to me like the culture's changing down in Houston at Rice. It looks like their coach, Bloomgren is starting to get the right players in there. And I think another thing about Texas you have to also concern yourself with is this is your last non-conference game. Conference play starts next week. You have to feel like they're maybe looking ahead to that a little bit. This is a Rice team that you will beat. The question is, how much do you really care about winning this game? Yeah. This is a defense that continues to have questions. I thought late in that game, particularly in the fourth quarter against Louisiana Tech, they didn't look particularly good either. So I think this is a team in Texas that definitely loses interest if they're up big. And I do think they have a defensive problem with that group right now. I'm willing to agree with you here. Look, 41-13 gets you the money here, Joe. This is a game where, for me, I would agree with you. I think taking the points with Rice, getting the 31 is the way to go. Good stuff, Joe. Always love the bubble burst theory. That's a great one. We will talk another game here in just a second. You want to stick around for that. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you're on in the comment box. Joe, thanks. We'll talk to you on the other video.
All right, big man. Thank you, sir.